Hello, my loves. Welcome to today's reading. So today's reading is all about your April 2021 predictions. We have 4 piles to choose from today, and before I start and introduce them, for those who are new to this channel or to pick a card concept, the way it works is that you usually have a couple of piles to choose from, and then you just take a nice deep breath. Try to relax, not overthink it, and try to feel to which pile you're most drawn to. It can be that the pile radiates more light to you, it can be that the stone is prettier than the rest for you, or any other unexplainable kind of pull towards the pile could indicate that this is a pile that you are drawn to. You can also be drawn to more than one pile, so that's totally fine. That means that there is a message for this in that second pile for you as well, second or third. But yeah, once you have chosen your pile, you can go ahead and skip by clicking the timestamps, which are linked in the comment section, in a pinned comment by me or in the description box, and just click the timestamp to skip ahead to that particular pile that you chose. So that being said, let's go ahead and introduce the piles. So we have pile number 1 with the smoky quartz. We have pile number 2 with citrine. We have pile number 3 with the sandstone. And then we have pile number 4 with amazonite. So whichever pile calls out to you, no need to rush. You can take all the time you need. You can pause the video if you like to. And I'm going to go ahead and start the reading with pile number 1. Hello, pile number 1s. If you chose the smoky quartz here, then this is your reading for what to be expected in your April 2021. So I'm going to just go ahead and lay the cards all together, and then we're going to have a look at all the messages that we can pick on. And the way it's going to go from the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, and the end of the month. So that's how we're going to look in your progression of your month for April. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So as usual, we're going to start with your oracle, with your tarot cards. So the first tarot card we have is the Six of Wands. Then we have the Ten of Wands and the King of Cups. Okay. So I know it says I'm going to lay out all the cards and we're going to look into the entire message. We will. But I guess I'm just going to say what I'm picking on right now. So what I can pick on here is that it could be, pile number 1, that you are feeling, perhaps there is a plan that you want to start. You're really excited on something. You're really excited to start something new. Maybe there is something that you wanted to do for a long time, or perhaps actually for some of you it already happened. Something that you were, some passion of yours actually came to be successful, or in the very least you see the first progress of it. And there might be this, for some of you, there might be this fear of things just falling apart, not working really well, because, you know, when you get usually success in the beginning, you get a little bit insecure later on. When you get this success, you sometimes feel like you get this fear that, okay, I'm now successful, what if something goes wrong? So it feels like kind of like that in the middle of the month, and then towards the end of the month feels like things just finally sort out in a way that you actually understand how to progress later on. Like you understand the situation much better, and you feel more confident and more calm about it, and kind of more collected, and you kind of have a better and clear pictures. Like it feels like in this case, like everything is just organized, like everything is just sorted out by the end of the month. So for some of you, it can mean that you started a project, you started something that you're really passionate about. It gives you a lot of optimism. Like you feel like, you know, on ninth cloud, if that's a thing to say in English. It's something that you say in my language. But anyways, and then towards the middle, you might get a couple of, so it either way could mean that you're getting actually attached to some older patterns, or you're just afraid that this success that you achieved in the beginning might actually slowly start to crumble down. Or you're just holding on to the success a lot, which is great, but you should believe more in yourself. And I think by the end of the month, that's exactly what's happening. You're just more collected, more calm, you kind of have things figured out by the end of the month. For some of you, it could potentially mean that you have an idea or have a plan or you have some sort of thing that you want to start, and you just cannot step out of your comfort zone, or you cannot let go of the older patterns in order to achieve what you really, really want. And I feel like by the end of the month, it's kind of like you're getting this energy, this power to just move forward. You just, same as with the previous messages I was getting for the end of the month, it's just that you are going to be feeling very sure of what you're going to do later. You're going to feel very, very sure, very collected in terms that that fear or doubts or whatever, just going to go away. Or at the very least, you're going to feel much, much better by the end of the month. Anyways, let's get ahead and look at your next card. So we have the Enchanted Map. I should really remember the names of them. Enchanted Map Oracle cards. And they're supposed to clarify each stage of the month. So for the first part, we have the Protecting Treasure. Then we have the Into the Unknown. And Details. So I do want to emphasize that this is exactly what I was feeling, actually. So there is something that you feel like you want to protect. You're like afraid to let go of that. So I do feel for a lot of you, it could be some success. Maybe you start a new project, or at the very least you started, maybe it's in a social circle for you. Maybe you made new friends. Maybe things just seem to improve in some area of your life. And it looks like you just want to protect it. You just want to, you're just afraid that you're going to mess up things. You know, this feeling that you get when you have some small triumphs in your lives, and then you're just like afraid that you might actually, it goes well, and what if something bad happens? What if this, or what if that? Well, it can happen. I'll tell you that. It really can happen, but it doesn't mean that if it's yours, it will be happening the way it should be happening. So just let it go in a direction, in a way that it unfolds naturally. Because if it's supposed to be, it will be. So yeah, I think like by the end, you're going to figure out all those little details about your feelings, all those little, you might even get a better understanding of the situation. So whatever this is, a project, a creative project, could be also because of fire energy. But for sure, by the end of the month, you're going to feel a little bit, you're going to have a better picture of how the situation is going. And you're going to have a little bit more confidence, that's for sure. You're going to feel more calm and collected in a good way about it. So with the unknown, it's, as I said before, it's just that you're afraid to go to the unknown. Either way, you're afraid to let go of your older patterns, or you're afraid to kind of let go in a natural unfolding way, the situation that just triumphed for you. So either way, it's a success that happened already, a small step towards your bigger goal, and you're just getting really afraid of the unknown and kind of like trying to hold into these little triumphs and afraid that something might go wrong. Or it could be that you already have a plan, and you already have this plan and you want to make it happen, but you're just like so confused and you're not sure about the older patterns, that you might not be able to let go of the older life. What if you step into this unknown, and what if you lose the older stuff, you know? We sometimes also get those kind of fears. Okay, then let's go to the next cards. This is the Sacred Destiny Oracle cards, and same pattern. We're going to start with the beginning, middle, and end of your month. So, patience. Taking risks. Yep, that's what I was saying. And abundance. Okay, so not only that, I will tell you right away that, well, you can also see it on your own pile number 1. Whatever you have in mind, just, it will bring abundance. And don't even freak out more right now when you hear this, because sometimes when we hear good news, we're even more freaked out. Oh no, what if I mess up? You won't. It's your, I wouldn't say destiny because cards change, but if it's yours, it will be happening. So with the patience, I do feel like you wanted to do this project for quite a bit, or you were at the very least waiting for some progress in this project. Or as I said before, it's a plan that you have been working on for quite a bit. And once again, with this into the unknown and this, 10 of Wands, more about attachments, but just take the risk, just go for it. There will be ups and downs. Yes, you had a triumph, but there will be some ups and downs. This is a natural way of progress in life. Sometimes some things work out, sometimes they don't, but if it's your spell number 1, it will definitely happen, because what is ours, it usually unfolds naturally and it leads towards that direction, if you know what I mean. And usually things that happen for the best. But in this case, I do feel like things are going to work out pretty well, and at the very least, this path that you are onto right now is going to bring you a lot of abundance. So I feel like this is some sort of project, work, perhaps study. It could be even like social life, because the Six of Wands, because of all this, because all of this hustle happening on the back, sometimes can also indicate community. In my readings, it can indicate socializing, being around people. It could also indicate exposure of a sort, like if you want to do some social media influencer thing or YouTube, it could also indicate exposure. But whatever this has to do with, I do feel like it was going to bring you a lot of abundance. You're going to feel much more confident in it in the end of the month. You're going to understand let's call it your craft, whatever you do, much, much better. And yes, it will require you to step into the unknown, to take risks. But pile number one, if it's something that you're really passionate about, and I do feel like this is something that you're really, really passionate about, this protecting treasure, and something that you've been wanting to do for a really long while, at the very least, there was an element of patience there. So yes, pile number one, just take the risk, just go for it, just go for your happiness. Ups and downs will happen, but you know what? This is life. And if it's yours, it will be yours. So we're going to conclude then with just one more card. This is the Moonology card. If you notice my previous videos, I always use this deck because I'm just so in love with this deck. It just literally fits every possible... I mean, I love all of my decks. Little babies. But I really actually can use the help of this deck in all of my readings. It's so relatable to so many readings in so many situations. Okay, just a little bit of... again, browsing in my own thoughts, but let's have a look. What is this card suggesting you? Okay, step out of your comfort zone, right? I was picking a little bit on the Ten of Wands, like this sort of comfort zone, not being able to move from your old patterns, perhaps afraid of the new, perhaps success, that something might go wrong. Just go for it. Same message again. Just go for it. Part number one. If it's yours, it's definitely gonna be yours. If it meant to be, it will be. And this is somehow that it looks like this path of yours, this idea of yours, this project has a really good potential for really beautiful abundance. Just look at this beautiful card. Is this gold on the top? I just noticed this for the first time in this card. It looks like gold pouring from the sky. Anyways, so that's all I can see for your April 2021. It was a short reading, but hopefully you were able to enjoy it and you got a little bit of glimpse on what to be expected in your April. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, look forward to my next ones, and hopefully I'll see you around. Have a good day. Bye. Hello, number twos. If you chose this beautiful citrine stone here, then this is your reading for April 2021 as to what to expect in that month. The way it's gonna go, we're gonna look first at your beginning of the month, then in the middle of the month, and then in the end. For the previous pile, I was supposed to lay out all the cards before I started explaining what is gonna be happening, but I just stopped in the Tower cards because I got messages already, so we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll lay out all the cards, maybe I'll lay out the first ones. As usual, we start with your tarot cards. You have 3 tarot cards. So at the beginning of the month, we have the Page of Swords. For the middle, we have the 3 of Cups. And for the end of the month, we have the Temperance. Okay. Yeah, for your pile, I'm gonna lay all of the cards out, because there's a lot of messages I can connect to this. Okay, then we're gonna do that. Just a bit of clarification with the... So we have the Home for the first part, the Unexpected Visitors for the second part, and then Magic Map Shifter. Okay, so here's what I can see. I think I'm gonna stop here before I put more cards out. So with the Page of Swords, this card usually means that you're moving forward slowly, step by step, while gazing on the past. With the Home card here, it just feels like... So it feels like in April, pile number 2, you might actually start making new connections. On the very least, you might actually start getting out of your home. So whatever you are around the world, it could potentially mean that lockdown is over, or in the very least you get more freedom. And you're gonna be able to meet your friends and, yeah, meet your friends or meet new people. I do feel like in the middle of the month, you're gonna have more social life going on, and I think like you're gonna be able to actually step out of of your home, because here I'm looking at those two cards, and I'm looking at this door, the shad door here with the home. You have also the clock here. It kind of makes me feel that there's a waiting time of a sort. And then we have on the second card here the unexpected visitors, with this door all of a sudden open. It actually literally looks like the same door. Anyways, so for sure your social life is getting much better in the middle of the month, from the middle of the month. It does feel like you're starting to get yourself back up, because perhaps you were feeling a little bit unmotivated because of the lockdown, because of the situation. Perhaps you were just too much at your home, and sometimes when we are too much in our home places, it can be cozy, it can be nice, but when you're stuck too long in one place, you might feel a little bit like, well, stuck, unproductive, lazy. You might feel like kind of like this stuck energies of a sort. Yeah, but I do feel like towards the middle of the month, you're already gonna slowly feel a bit more motivated. Perhaps you're gonna pick up on projects that you were not doing before. Or at the very least, I feel like your mindset is gonna get more like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna go ahead and be more motivated. I'm gonna start like your way of thinking gets a little bit more. You're starting to move forward, basically. You start to want to actually move forward, do some things, plan perhaps for the future, maybe do some, like, actually do the tasks that you perhaps were not taking care of before, but you knew you had to. And you find this energy in the beginning of the month to actually start and do something to shift your energies, to move your energies, to bring some energy, some freshness in your life. In the middle of the month, it feels like it gets really social for you. You meet up with friends. I feel this energy of encounters. Perhaps you're gonna meet a lot of new friends, but for sure, like, I'm looking at this number 4 and 1. It together it makes it into 5. Like, definitely changes are happening for you by number 2. And those changes, I feel like they have to do exactly with your mindset. You get a little bit more out there to the world. I feel like maybe your place is maybe the restrictions, maybe the lockdown is getting lifted or something. But at the very least, I do feel like you're gonna get out of your home more, or perhaps you're gonna, even if you have still lockdowns, perhaps you're gonna just, somehow I feel like your social life is gonna improve. Maybe you're gonna go out more. But I do feel like definitely you decide you're just really tired of sitting home, just being with this old routine and like stuck kind of situation. You want to shift your mindset, shift your energies. You want a bit more clarity and a little bit more freshness in your life. I do feel it, like in the beginning of the month, you're like, okay, that's all great, but I just need some refreshment. I can't just keep on, feeling stuck. So yeah, social life. And at the end of the month, I do feel like all this social life interaction, it definitely shifts your surroundings. It definitely shifts your surroundings. It definitely changes, and it brings you some sort of balance and peace of mind. Finally, you feel finally at balance, at peace. Like, you feel this sun rising you feel this sunrise all of a sudden. I do feel like you feel finally like at peace. Like, you balance things. Like, your mind is at peace. Your body is at peace, because you finally don't feel stuck and you feel more refreshed, and you kind of have this. Perhaps you were missing social life. Perhaps you were missing some sort of active energy, some sort of change. And you're shifting those energies, and your surroundings, your friends, your colleagues perhaps, or your new encounters that do help you to get even more active and even more shift your energies, feel more refreshed, because I'm getting this refreshed energy from this. Like, you're shifting your world around. Perhaps you're going to pick up on some projects. You're going to start maybe new sports. I don't know, but it feels like you're going to want to start new things just to stop being stuck at your home. Okay, let's get to the next few cards. So we have the relaxation, which makes a lot of sense with the home. It must have been a lot of too relaxing days for you, pile number 2. Then we have the healing chaos. And the opportunity. Okay. So I do stand by my words again. I do feel like before you had this too calm of an energies. Like, you were perhaps spending too much time at home. Perhaps you were not able to get out there that much. You felt a little bit too calm, too, maybe even lazy to a point, because your energies felt a bit stuck. And so there is this chaos perhaps happening in you. And I do feel like, I do look at these butterflies and it makes me feel like all those social connections that actually help you to improve your surroundings. And I do feel like, yeah, like it's like you're definitely going to shift your surroundings a little bit by your own willpower, but also your social circle is going to help you a lot. New connections, older connections, colleagues perhaps. But yeah, I do feel like you're going to shift things around. This healing chaos, it might look like a windstorm there, but it's not a bad card. It's about transformation, about a transformation that just decides to just change everything, just like, because a transformation comes with a little bit of chaos on the background. You can't shift from one state to another without, you know, shuffling things up a little bit. And opportunity. I do feel like, yes, a lot of things are going to open up for you. Perhaps even actually with the magical map shifter, perhaps even you're going to, let's put it in a more spiritual way, you're going to cleanse your energy, that you're going to invite opportunities towards you. But at the very least, I do look at this card and I do feel like there's so much going on around this man here. So many different, I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. So many different activities. I do feel like you might pick up either way new hobbies or new opportunities, as the card says here, might come towards you. So it could be that, that you might get new offers, perhaps, new hobbies, new activities. You might actually, I feel like your life is going to get a little bit more color by the end of the month. That's how it feels like. You're going to be engaged in more activities. You're going to try new things. That's what it tells me about. Like, you might actually try new things in the end of the month, or new things or new opportunities might come towards you, and you will feel very balanced, very at peace in a good way, like where you get your share of communications, your share of freshness that you were craving. I do feel like you had this relaxation, you perhaps even enjoyed it at first, but it feels like you need a little bit more activity. You need a little bit like to shuffle up the energies, like freshness, activity. You need some new things. And in the end of the month, you actually attract those things. I do feel like with your behavior, as it shifts through the month, you actually receive those new hobbies, those new, maybe it's just new opportunities coming towards you, but I do feel like a lot of fresh activities, perhaps something unknown to you yet. Whether you chose to do that or it just came deliberately through an opportunity towards you, whether that's work, maybe a friend suggests to do something new, like pick up a new hobby and try a new diet. Maybe you decided to, I don't know, even do tarot reading on your own. But it feels like you're trying new things. Like, it feels like you have this fresh energy, and you finally feel like things are kind of working out. You feel calmer because there is freshness around you, if that makes sense. Yeah. So one last card, it's the Moonology card here. It's just gonna kind of give you the advice. It might summarize the entire reading. We'll see what comes here. So your hard work is paying off. It feels like, okay. Also now I'm thinking, well, yeah, for most of you, things that before, like I said before, did kind of felt stuck. I feel like they're like moving towards like the active kind of, you invite a lot of freshness and new things into your life. But I think for some of you actually, guys, it might be that you literally get a new opportunity in the end of the month. Maybe you were even waiting for something. Maybe you applied for jobs, or you applied for some, like, I feel like you felt stuck in the beginning of the month, yes, as I mentioned before, but it's just that it feels like there is, either way, as I said before, an opportunity coming towards you. Maybe something that you actually were deliberately expecting, or because with the new moon, it's new things, new beginnings. So that's definitely talking about the end of the month. Obviously, your hard work paying off means that it's a progression. But, yeah, it does feel like an opportunity, something new coming towards you, whether you picked it up, a new hobby or something, or as I said before, maybe something new pops up your way. Maybe it's something that you even wanted for a while. It just feels like sort of manifestation energy even happening in the end of the month. So for sure, pile number twos, you attract something new, or you create something new. You have a social circle going on, social activity, you freshen up the energies in the middle of the month, and there's a little bit more freedom and more opportunity and more choices and a lot of more excitement in the end of the month. And for some of you, it could mean that you picked up a lot of new hobbies or opportunities that you actually wanted and craved before start moving, happening, and actually come into your life. Pile number 2s. Ooh, that's actually really good reading. I'm really excited for you. Let me know in the comments below what resonated, what not, and you can also come later if you feel like it and comment how this worked out. That would be really nice to see how it applies to people's lives. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you have a wonderful night, day, evening, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hello, Pile number 3s. If you chose the Soundstone here, then this is your reading for April 2021 and what to be expected in your month. So the way this reading is going to go, we're going to look at your beginning of the month, the middle, and in the end of the month. And just in this sequence, have a look how the month is going to progress. So without further ado, let's hop in. So as usual, we start with the tarot cards. Your pile got actually 4 tarot cards instead of 3. So the way we're going to look at this, we're just going to assume that this is the beginning, this is the end of the month, and these are the middles, early middle, late middle of the month. So without further ado, let's have a look in your April. The first card we have is Death. The second card we have the Page of Cups. Then we have the Four of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, I think I'm just going to elaborate a little bit on this one before I move to the Oracle cards. So what I feel from here, pile number 3, is that you're going to go through... So with the Death card, I do feel like you start the month having a lot of inner changes in you. So I do feel like there's a lot of inner changes happening in you, pile number 3, and they're actually to the best. So as you shift through the month, I feel like those inner changes are bringing this optimism, this refreshness, this kind of feeling of refreshness, new energies, and new kind of attitude. It could be that some changes in your life happened, or you deliberately decided to change your own self, but there's a shift in the inner perceptions and an inner being. Maybe you worked on those changes for quite a bit, but I feel like you're becoming more optimistic. It feels like you find yourself, you feel at most comfort in the very first month, in the very first middle of the month. It feels like you have more comforts with your own self. And as you shift, as you change your inner self, it feels like you're gonna have a better glimpse of your surroundings, and it feels like you're gonna be more, I wouldn't say picky, but kind of like you will be choosing a little bit carefully and better, because you will understand yourself better. You will be choosing then kind of like looking at your life again and choosing what works for you and what not. And through that, it feels like in the end of the month, you will commit to something, you will start something new. It feels like you're gonna start, perhaps, it's really interesting, but it's something new, it's something materially new. It could potentially mean that either way, you start a new job, a new career. It could be also a new education. Perhaps you start new classes, new courses somewhere. You maybe decide to take cooking class, or it could be something as big as moving to a new place. So something material. So you start shifting completely in terms of inner thoughts and being and energies. And as you progress through the month, you start creating those, through better understanding of your own self, you start creating those physical changes. So something physically changes in your life, pile number 3. So something new is coming, something materially new. Something materially new. This could be a new home, once again, moving to a new home perhaps for some of you. For others of you, could be starting a new job, starting your own thing, perhaps in terms of material income. It could be also potentially education, some sort of education. It could be a university. It could be something like, a university or new classes. Yeah, something among those things. So to clarify a little bit more, we're gonna get those Enchanted Map Oracle cards, which I used so many times already, and I still have to look at the name, how it's properly actually called. So at the beginning of the month, you have the Commitment. Okay. Then you have the Solitude, and in the end, Healing the Ouch. Okay. So there's definitely, I see a lot of self changes, like a lot of inner changes, kind of like understanding yourself better in the beginning of the month, in the early middle, And then through understanding yourself better, feeling better about yourself, feeling optimistic, refreshed, you kind of move and choose the life, kind of like your surroundings, and choose to start or to invite new things to your life. There's a little bit of similarity with the second pile, so you might actually have felt drawn to the second pile a little bit. If that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, let's go to the commitment. So I do feel that this could refer to commitment to your own self. Like you're finally accepting your own self, trying to understand yourself better. It feels like really pile number 3 is in the beginning of the month, you try to understand yourself better and you do develop some sort of better understanding to your own self and you feel better by yourself because you kind of accept, move and shift things inside of you in a positive direction for you. And that happens through some sort of self-reflection. So I'm looking at this card and seeing the tower here, this alone tower, and just look at the reflection. So there's a lot of self-reflection, like kind of like taking the time, taking a minute to yourself, taking an hour, a day, whatever, to yourself and reflecting. I do feel like you're gonna have a lot of self-reflection this month. And this self-reflection actually is something that's it's a little bit of a input towards your more material future, let's call it this, because if you add 1 and 3, it's 4. 4 is about stability, it's about grounding, settling down. And I do feel like there is definitely this shift from self-reflection and self-understanding to analyzing a little bit what works and what doesn't in your life, and then building and deciding on these new material things, whether they come automatically to you or they already came maybe at the beginning of the month and you just get emotionally ready for them. So for instance, for the minority of you, it could be that you actually get in a next stage of relationship with somebody. So for a minority of you guys, it could mean that you actually get more committed to your partner. It could be that you get into the next stage of relationship, and maybe because of that, you get this inner shift. Because when things happen like this, it means that we are not alone anymore. It means that we are not just single. It means that we might, whatever that commitment can indicate, it could mean that maybe you move together, or maybe there's a proposal, there's a marriage. In any case, this means that it always, with every of those changes, there is like also inner changes that are required, and you take this moment to self-reflect and understand how to imply those changes into your life. It feels like it, for the minority of you, that this card actually represents real commitment in terms of relationship. And it feels like then in the second, late middle of the month, you start analyzing a little bit what works and what doesn't, and how to then, like, you think of the compromising relationship together of a sort. Because when you're in a relationship with a person, in a committed one, there's things that will work out, that will not work out, and you need to reflect on how to make things work together. So obviously that works in compromise in a lot of cases. But it feels like, yes, there's a lot of self-inner changes, and that leads to actual material changes, positive material changes in the end. Moving, new job, perhaps new commitment, this new relationship that gets into more deeper level. But for the majority of you, it could be a job, a new sort of material beginning, which you're ready for, because with the heal, the ouch, you're ready for it after self-reflection, after self-commitment, and after understanding what's better for you and what is not. Okay, let's go to the next few more cards. Great English. Anyways, the Sacred Destiny Oracle cards here. So we have the Simplicity, Thriving, and Solitude. So it's quite interesting. We have the Solitude twice. So I do feel like there's a lot of self-reflection indeed here. Yes. A lot of self-reflection. I do not feel like those actually go in that sequence, the last cards. I do feel like they just connect to the messages above. I do feel like you're going to receive a lot of simplicity. That is the case, actually. I do feel this with the Page of Cups. Like there's this optimism, this relief. It feels like you found yourself. It feels like you're understanding yourself, at the very least, a little bit better. So there's a lot of inner shifts going on, and there's something new invited to your life. It could be just you start living in terms of practical, but material existence a little bit more in a different way, because when there's inner changes, the physical material changes ought to happen, and this is what happens in the end of the month. But honestly, with this Thriving card here, I do feel like you'll probably also feel this if you resonate with this pile, that whatever is happening during this time, these changes, they're actually so good for you. You actually feel so good. This thriving card and this simplicity actually together kind of makes me feel this page of cups a lot. So I do feel like you're gonna feel like complete, there's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of excitement going on there. So there's definitely a big shift, a big change happened in the beginning of the month, and you feel very good about it. Like there's a lot of self-reflection, but it makes you just accept the new changes that came. Perhaps the new changes already came the previous month, or they come in the beginning of April, and just through the month you get mentally and innerly ready for them. It could also potentially mean that you invite those material resolutions, because materially you receive something new, like a new opportunity, something new is coming towards your way, and that new comes through your process of inner change. So yeah, take it as it resonates. I would really like to hear in the comments what do you think, how this applies to your life. And we still have one more card before we're done. So this is the Moonology Oracle card, and we're just gonna look at this card as in either a confirmation, an extra message, or just kind of summarizing of all of this. We have your commitment has been tested. Okay, again, commitment. So I'm not sure. It could be that some of you actually get into the next stage of the relationship in this, whoever chose this pile. It could be that you get into the next stage of relationship. Yeah, that's true. It could also potentially mean, so the commitment has been tested. It makes me think that, honestly, this commitment is happening in the beginning of the month, and through the month, you just get mentally sorted out. So there's a lot of solitude going on, self-reflection on your own. But I do feel like, or this is commitment to yourself, but I do feel like something is happening in the end of the month. At the very least, some tiny, at least, material opportunities coming towards you. Something materially that changes around you a little bit. Or at the very least, a proposition for some change materially is definitely happening in the end of the month. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading. That's it for today. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about it, if you feel like it. Also, you can come back later after the month is over and let me know how this resonated in your particular situation. So yeah, I hope you have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are around the world, and I'll be seeing you in my next videos. Bye guys! Hello number 4s. If you chose the Amazonite stone here, then this is your reading for what to be expected in April 2021. The way this reading is gonna go, we're gonna have a look at the beginning of the month, the middle, and in the end of the month. I'm kind of like look at the sequence and what does it mean, the progression of the month for you. As usually, we start with tarot cards, and we have the 3 tarot cards for each month, for each part of the month. Okay, so in the beginning of the month, we have the Knight of Wands. The middle of the month, we have the Page of Wands, a lot of wand energy. And then the end of the month, we have the Eight of Swords. Interesting. Interesting. The wand energy usually is a fire energy. I mean, it is a fire energy, and it usually signifies in a lot of cases that so in this, what I'm feeling here is that there is some sort of excitement towards something, perhaps a passion, could be also a relationship. But you see, the thing is, I feel like in the end of the month, there's going to be a lack of clarity. I know not a lot of people like hearing the bad news, and not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like there's a lot of confusion in the end of the month. And it somehow feels to me like it actually is something passionate, could be potentially a love relationship that perhaps you started recently or some time ago. And it gets a bit confusing towards the end of the month. But before I say more, let's lay a bit more of the oracle cards and I'll tell you for sure. So beginning of the month, we have the One Ring Circles. Okay. Then we have the Follow the Leader. And Magic Prayer. Wow. Okay, that happens quite often in my readings. If you saw the previous video, you would know. This card, what happened with this card once again. This card flipped over when I was shuffling. I once again saw it. I thought it was not fair. Put it back in. It came up again. I don't know. Maybe there is some sort of numerology people out there like that mathematics people that will explain this, but yeah, this card came up again. Oops. So, follow the leader. I'm not quite sure if this Eight of Swords has to do with confusion, or rather more like, It could be that you have excitement, and so you start the month with feeling very excited about something, very, very excited about something. You feel very motivated. It could be something passionate you're about. For those who don't resonate with a lover, it could be also a career of a sort, or not even career. I do feel like for some of you, it could be a hobby of a sort. Maybe you want to make it into career, but at the very least, it's a passionate hobby of yours. It could be something artistic too. And it feels like in the beginning of the month, you started with feeling that it doesn't have much progress. So when I think of the One Ring circus, I think like just a lot of things happening inside of a closed space of literally a ring. So you know what I mean? Like there's like no way out. It's like everything's just shuffling around in that ring of a sort. But it does feel like there's a lot of messages coming on here. So follow the leader. There is still progression going on here. So I do feel like you have, because you get the Page of Wands, could be also potentially a new lover, but it can also be some sort of fresher kind of excitement, energy coming towards you, some sort of fresher energy coming towards you. Okay, so for the lover ones, it does feel like if it's relationship based, it feels like things just gonna go with the flow as it's supposed to be. You won't have much control of the situation. Maybe it's gonna go through with the passion that is in that relationship, and it feels like in the end of the month there's gonna be a little bit of confusion there. There's gonna be a little bit of confusion and some changes, whether it's positive or negative we're gonna see in the next cards, but there's some sort of, I feel like this magic prayer, it's just kind of either way that you're just hoping for some change but it doesn't really happen and you're really confused in the situation, or that actually there might be some changes which confuse you even more. For those who don't resonate with the relationship, it could be potentially that there is some sort of hobby passion, potentially could be an artistic hobby, that you don't feel that there is much progress with it, but you still go with the flow, you still get this energy and still get this motivation to just keep on pushing. And you just hope that things will work out with this, but there's still a lot of confusion and you don't know where it goes yet. Or there's just a lot of thoughts, even though you're still pushing towards it. There's still a lot of thoughts of uncertainty on how it's going to go. And you're really wishing for it to come true or to come to the goal that you thought of. But it just needs, let's say it needs a little bit of clarity. So there's a lot of thoughts and a lot of information that makes you a little bit confused by the end of the month. So let's have a look at in a few more cards, and maybe I can tell you a little bit more, because I'm getting a lot of messages from here, but I just want to be very precise in what I say, so we'll see. So we have the Sacred Destiny Oracle cards here, and let's see what they say about your month and before. So blessings, new beginnings, and truth. Okay, so the truth and the clarity, that this like need of clarity here makes a lot of sense. The truth, whenever it comes into my readings, it always talks about need of clarity or clarity. Just basically think of it as clarity, of seeing things through. Follow the leader and new beginnings. So, new beginnings, so follow the leader. So as I said before, there's some sort of fresh energies happening here. Like you still get this fresh drive to go through. Okay, so it doesn't actually, it feels like it's actually a pretty good reading, but it's just, the thing is, a lot of things overwhelm you in the end of, overwhelm you. Non-English speaker. Anyways, a lot of things overwhelm you by the end of the month. You have a lot of thoughts. I think it could also potentially mean that you receive a lot of information. So here's the thing. In the beginning of the month, there is this lack of progress of a sort, but there's a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion about it. But it just feels like you're, just moving in a circle of a sort. And yet you still feel very happy about what's going on. It's kind of like interesting. You have this inner excitement because we have the passion here, but yet things are not exactly moving forward, which actually changes towards the middle of the month, because there is a sort of with the moving forward, you follow the leader and the new beginnings, there is some sort of refreshment. So if it talks about relationships, so this relationship just keeps going on and maybe there's new aspects to it. If it talks about a hobby or an artistic project of yours or some sort of like passion that you're doing, but doesn't necessarily brings you yet that much money, if it's something that you want to do professionally, it feels like you get even more excitement. You have even more motivation to just break from that circle and just actually start moving forward, getting some more clarification, new beginnings. And you're really wishing for it, you're really wishing for clarity. It's possible that actually there are coming new changes in the middle of the month towards you. Kind of more passion, more drive. You receive more drive in the middle of the month. You receive more excitement towards it, or even some slight more information. Because when I look at this follow the leader and I look at this card here, I look at all of those things that are happening with all of those people here. So it could be that potentially maybe you receive some information or some encouragement from your friends. And that's where the motivation is coming from, because the Page of Wands is definitely indignation of a sort of this current situation. Like you get more freshness and more excitement, and it could potentially mean a new lover, but it depends on how you look at this reading. For the minority, it does. Well, I wouldn't say for the minority though. So it is somehow relationship based, but if it doesn't resonate with relationships, then it means it's a hobby for you, part number 4, and it's a hobby. It's kind of something artistic, something passionate you're passionate about. At the very least, there's aspect of some sort of creativity in here, or passion, just something that you're really passionate about. You might receive this with new beginnings. I do feel like you might receive some new insights, and at the very least, you might get this new energy, this new drive to push forward. And in the end of the month, I do still feel that you're even more confused, maybe because you actually get some progress going on, but I don't think you're fully yet understanding where you're actually heading to. Maybe you have just so many thoughts, like maybe so many contradictions. Maybe you're thinking that there is, give me a second, I'm just gonna try to feel it. There's a lot of wishful. So what I'm feeling from here, there's a lot of wishing for something to happen, wanting this clarity, wanting this progress. You do have the drive in the middle of the month, but you're just still a little bit confused in the end of the month because you have a lot of thoughts. It could be motivational thoughts, but also contradictory thoughts, because when we do something that we're passionate about and we're just really jumping into the unknown, sometimes we're just having so many thoughts on a lot of aspects. Like it can be discouraging thoughts, it can be supportive thoughts, but it feels like you just have a lot of confusion. It feels like a confusion cloud here. That's how I would say. But you just really want the clarity and truth, and you really want things to work out. And I do feel, pile number 4, that even though we don't have it in this reading, in the next month after April, somewhere probably in the beginning or the early middle, you will get a little bit more clarity, because this season of being confused, it only happens when we are actually receiving a lot of new things happening around us and we can comprehend them that much. Or it could be that just keep on moving forward, I would say, and the clarity will come, because this confusion doesn't last forever. Also, potentially, you could have been drawn to the first pile as well for some of you, because there's some similar messages in terms of unknown, risk, and kind of like an aspect of confusion of a sort. But yeah, so either way, a romantic encounter that already is happening. There's you feel really nice about it, but you don't feel like it's moving somewhere. And either way, there's a refreshment, new energies there, but then it still makes you feel kind of confused because it's too much happening by the end of the month. Or it could potentially be something with your hobby that you really, really like with the blessing card here. You really are into it, but it just feels like you're just not, it doesn't progress as fast perhaps as you would want it, but you still find this new motivation, probably from support, from friends, from your physical environment. Could be maybe you get some insights from your physical environment, the simplest things, that it could be just a quote that you found somewhere, and then it kind of feels like you will actually, I do feel like you receive some sort of insights, but the more we receive, sometimes the more we're drawn in our own thoughts. So there's an aspect of confusion and really this wishful hope that it works out. I don't see that it necessarily doesn't work out, but it just feels like you ended the month with a lot to think about. And there's an aspect of confusion and a craving for the truth. Maybe there will be actually a couple of truth insights going on, but I do feel for the majority of you guys that the clarity time is coming in May, in the beginning of the May, the first half of the May, most likely. This is usually the average time that it takes a little bit after the confusion season. Because after the confusion, there's always a clarity moment. So your last card is from the Moonology cards. And it's going to basically give us extra information, clarification, or some sort of conclusion to all of this. So whatever, I just let it free for interpretation. So whatever is here, it's supposed to somehow aid us in this reading. So conclusions are within reach. Okay, so whatever you're here expecting, waiting, kind of work on, still pushing forward. I really actually admire your motivation. It feels like you really do want this to happen and you do push forward. I do feel like this energy here that you still try to ignite that fire. So it just tells you that conclusions are within reach. So the clarity will come, even if it's not until the very end of this month. It could be potentially in the beginning of May. But all this clarity will happen, like the clouds of thought, because it's main thought. It's kind of like more the confusion is happening mainly in your head, pile number 4. It's kind of confusing, maybe because of a lot of thoughts, a lot of information around you. Maybe you're not sure how to move with this love project, passion of yours. So something passionate, whether love or your hobby. I do feel like it's a lot, like it's actually a hobby that maybe you potentially wanted to make it into an income source. But conclusions are within reach. So it just tells you that I'm just looking at this picture and I'm seeing those branches, those trees here. And that actually really resonates with this card here, with all those swords here. You see, it's just temporary. Whatever confusion you might feel, it's just temporary. The reading is actually very positive. So keep doing what you're doing for your own happiness. Just whatever you feel like makes you happy, just keep on doing this. And the conclusions that you need and the clarity that you seek and pray for, it's going to come eventually. Pile number 4s. So that's all I can see for you, pile number 4s. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Let me know in the comment section below what resonated, what not, if you feel like it, of course. And you also can come back if you feel like it in the end of next month and let me know whatever happened and how it happened in your life. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are. And I'll be seeing you in my next readings. Bye, guys!